In this Photoshop challenge, you're going to need to access the Campus Share Drive and find the PS Photo Corrections folder. In here, you are going to find several photos that you're going to use, and the first one is going to be the one that is called Auto Color Correction right here. So I'm going to drag that in, and it is a photograph of a cat. Now, there's nothing that is horribly wrong with the photo other than the fact that it was taken with no flash, and of course, after I took it and realized that it was a little too dark, I made corrections on my camera to fix it. But sometimes you don't get that opportunity and you need to use Photoshop. So that's why we learn these things. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and duplicate my layer so that I can use what is called the non-destructive editing techniques. That means that the original is always at the bottom. In case I really screw it up, I can go back to it. Under the image menu, we have adjustments, and this is where all of our image adjustments are. Also know that here on the layers panel, you have the adjustment layers as well that you can add. Now, you should also know that under the image menu, you're going to see the mode, and this shows you what the photo or document is, what kind of color mode it is in. RGB is what we use when we have stuff that needs to go on the internet. If we intend it to be printed, we use CMYK. RGB stands for red, green, blue. CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And those are the colors that are inside of a color printer. That's the ink that's inside of a color printer. So this is an RGB. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to look up here in the image menu, and when I look here, there's three things that are here before I even go into the adjustments, and that is auto tone, auto contrast, and auto color. I'm going to go ahead and start with the auto contrast. What auto contrast does, you can see where I apply it, it boosts the overall contrast when a photo does not have color issues but just needs a little more pop. So it doesn't actually change any of the colors in the image. Since this photo was taken without a flash and it was a little dark, then the auto contrast benefits this greatly. So it really brings it more to life. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and go back, use my history panel to go and undo that. The next one I want to try is auto tone, and auto tone gives me similar results to the auto contrast. However, it changes the colors in the image all at the same time, so it doesn't give you any control over what you which ones you do. So if it has blue tones in the image, then the auto tone will adjust it. If it has too much red tones, it'll adjust it. However, if you don't have any color issues, then by using auto tone, it could wind up giving you a color issue. Okay, so this one, again, it's similar results as when we did the auto contrast, but I'm going to go ahead and undo that as well so that we can look at the last one. And the last one is looking at auto color. Now, auto color looks quite a bit different than using the other two. Auto color will darken your darkest pixels, lighten your lightest pixels on a channel by channel basis. And when I say channels, right here docked with my layers is the channels panel. If you don't see it, remember that all of your panels are under the window menu. So you can actually look one channel at a time, and I can see here where, again, the darkest pixels and the whitest pixels. And then if I look at the green by itself, again, that is showing me the darkest and the whitest. And notice how when they start combining, then that's when you see all of the colors together. Okay? So it appears grayscale one by one, but when you put them together, it puts color on it. It goes a step further than auto tone, because instead of it redistributing all of the tonal values, it tries to correct any unwanted color cast by neutralizing the midtones in that image. It is usually, but not always, better for both boosting contrast and correcting color problems at the same time. So in this photo, using all of those, or each one, gave me fairly similar results. Sometimes an image is a noticeable difference from one to another, and sometimes it's beneficial to do more than one of these auto corrections, but you kind of have to play with it to see what works best for your photo. So if I back out of that again, go to auto tone. Okay, so we see that that's improved it. And if I go next to auto contrast, not much of a difference there, maybe very subtle. And then auto color, I want you to notice there is a difference once I do the auto color. So I'm going to undo that one real quick. Notice that this one is a little more, has a little more yellowy brown to it. When I add that auto color though, it winds up looking a little more gray. So I can kind of go back and forth and I can decide which one I think looks better. I think this one adds a little bit too much of a blue cast to it. I like this one better. So I actually would leave that there. Okay? And again, this is one of those things that you just have to play with as you get as you try it on photos, because it doesn't work the same on every single one. So what I need for you guys to do, first, if you hide that layer, you can see how it changed from the original to the fixed version. Okay, so you can tell that there's an improved photo there. We'll go ahead and in your OneDrive, we need to find your Photoshop folder, and we want to make a new folder. Okay, and this is going to be called corrections or something to that effect. And notice that I named all these files. I named them what they should be named, with the exception of the hashtag should be your period number. It should not stay a hashtag, and then underscore your last name. Save it as a PSD. And then remember, once you save it as a PSD, you have to go back in and you got to save it as a JPEG and hit save.